Okay, thank you. Hari Om. Hearty welcome to all of you. We will start the class in a minute. Okay. Let's all chant the Prarthana Shlokas. Very important. Already, Prabhu has started very nicely. Already, many of you have participated in the right frame of mind. Now, those are joining now. Let us start, all of us, the Prarthana Shlokas. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Shaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shrutismriti Purananam Adayam Karunadayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakatav Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Yomavat Pyapta Dehaja Dakshina Murti Namaha Apar Karuna Sindhum Yanadam Shantarupinam Sri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanham Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Martaha Sunmanti Dimbe Stavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakana Ubhadir Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyana Avasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Dvitiyodhyayaha Sankhya Yogaha Om Narayanah Parom Vyaktat Andamam Vyakta Sambhavam Andasyantasvi Me Lokaha Saptadvipacha Medini Om. Now we'll chant Shloka number 22 and we will revise a few concepts, the last 3 shlokas, because they are slightly difficult concepts, and then we'll take up the meaning and go forward. Praraha, you can come. We'll chant Shloka number 22. Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Dvitiyodhyayaha Sankhya Yogaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhasam Sijirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grunhati Naroparani Thata Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Sanyati Navani Dehi.
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grunhati Naroparani Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi.
Together, all of us. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Bhasam Sijirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grunhati Naroparani Thata Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ardam Swagatam Suprabhatam to all our participants from US and Shubhasayam Sandhya for all people from the Asian region. Good to see Raja Sagar's son also very intently attending the class. Very nice. Hari Om. Good. Okay. Now, before we proceed further, this portion of Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, is explaining what? Atma Tattvam. And Atma Tattva means what? Is it explaining about somebody somewhere in some other planet, some other world? It is about our own true nature. Very good. Our own, let's say our own. English is a very tough language. Your own. He'll say, no problem. Our own true nature. And you should go back now, make a set of few points so that you get the entire concept together and you can analyze it and keep on doing that mananam. And what are the points you have to note down? I keep saying Vedanta is systematic study until it becomes second nature to you. Your second nature should be that I am what? Pure consciousness. Aham Brahmasmi. Unless you get that, this constant thought should go on. So how do we start? So first, in the beginning, we said in our own existence, there are two aspects. One we called for discussion's sake, the big I and the small I. Correct? So somebody can start writing the same way, and before that, somebody can put the meeting note also description and then start following 1, 2, 3, 4 the points. First point is there is one big I and one small I in our existence. Correct? The big I we called as consciousness principle, and the small I we called as the what? Matter principle. Atma Tattvam, Anatma Tattvam. Now, the question arises at some point in time whether the Atma Tattvam is involved in any action that I am doing, because both are part of me. Correct? Logically, if big I and small I are part of me, then whatever I do, that both of them should take equal responsibility or shared whatever you want to say, that should happen, right? Is that happening is a question that we have to put to ourselves. And Bhagavan is told, I'm just telling you in a very, very simple way so that you can grasp the concept. So now the question arises that are there any examples that we can quote? Because Vedanta is taught through examples. Please understand. Whenever we are not able to comprehend certain truths which are not physically available for our perception, we have to use examples, and through examples, the mind has to start thinking like that, and then it will come to the conclusion, and then you will own up to it. Okay, you understood the methodology, right? That's called Adhyaropa Pavadam. You use a quality or an example, and you go through the process, understand, and then that example is no longer required. Now, what is the example we're going to use? And all of you, please follow me. Please don't interrupt in the chat box. Some of you may know some of the examples, but please don't interrupt and follow it systematically. Now, the question is, are there any parts of or in a particular action, if there are many entities involved, are there any entities not at all bothered or conditioned or affected by the action? And are there some things in that particular situation that do not even participate in the action? When you ask that question, classically we give two examples. Now write down. First example we normally quote is space or akasha. So what is the beauty about space? Now you see, for anything to happen, is space required or not? It's all discussion only. That this you can answer yes or no. For anything to happen, space, Sundar Vike saying space is required. That means what? When I'm speaking, when I'm doing something, whatever is happening, space is part and parcel of all our activity. Correct? Correct? But does space participate in the action? Does space participate in actions? No. It is part and parcel activity, but it does not participate in action. So there are things that can be part of an action. Very important. There are entities that can be part of an action, but have nothing to do with the action. Samajh mein aa raha hai? Dimag, no, we say no. Dimag ki batti jal gayi. Notification comes, no, something that it will light up, no. This is very important concept. Mento, correct. Kumar Devi is doing all the advertisement. Mentos. Dimag ki batti say no. So you should dimag ki batti jalao. So you see, this space is part of all the action, but it is not participating in action. Similarly, light. Example, I gave sunlight in the last class. No, you remember, right? Light is there today. It is dark in India. It is probably light in a lot of light is in the US. But light is part and parcel of all my actions. Correct? Yes or no? Even Prabhupada will agree. Correct? Light is part and parcel, because without light you cannot see me. Correct? It is part and parcel. But is it involved? Is it involved? Is it doing the talking? Is it doing the seeing? It is calling out all these things. It is not doing. Space, is it doing anything? But now take away space or take away light. Can we continue the action? Are you getting the concept here? Light and space are part and parcel of all our activities, but are totally detached from all our actions. You're getting the point or not? Clear, no? So, and what is the beauty? Is space only here? Space is there everywhere. Sarvagataha. That space which is everywhere also is here and also helping you to do all the actions, but is totally disconnected from all the actions. That means you got an example already, like light and space. There's a very famous example. All the kids, all the people will like this. You go to a theater, there is a screen, correct? Now, all the pictures that are projected on the screen, is the screen part and parcel of everything or not? Somebody is running, hero coming, hero going, villain coming, all those things are, no. The screen not part of it. You remove the screen, where will the actor come? That's why, Dimag ki batti jalao. So, without screen, nothing can happen. But is screen doing anything? Screen is not doing anything, right? Temporary ka baat nahi hai. You please understand. That's why I say please follow the way I'm explaining. No temporary, permanent and all. It is permanent only. As long as you're seeing the film, to duration of the film, the screen is required, but not participating in any action. I keep repeating, follow Vedanta the way it is taught. Park your brain somewhere and follow the way I'm explaining. Okay, clear? So these examples are clearly explaining to you that there are entities which are part of an action but are disconnected from the action. But without that, the action cannot happen. And that is called as akarta. Write down. Use the word Sanskrit akarta. Karta means doer. Karta means doer. Kumarjivi, don't wordsmith here. Follow the lesson systematically. So, akarta means seemingly part of action required, but is not at all connected to action. So, you got the point? When I say Atma akarta, Akashavat, Prakashavat, we say in Sanskrit. Akashavat, Prakashavat, Atma akarta, not a doer. That means in us itself, there is an aspect of me which is required for action, but does not participate in action. The consciousness is required for action, but whatever you do will not affect the consciousness. That consciousness is not doing actually. It's an enabler, but it is not doing. So this is one part. Second thing is, we talked about Atma being abhokta, not an experiencer. That which can never be affected by any of the actions. Same example you choose again. Space. In space, so many things are happening. Correct? Actions are happening. Dirt is there. No, maybe there is, water, rain is coming, heat is there. Dust is there, smell is there, everything is there, anything is there. Is the space getting affected by any action? That's the son is really understand. He's understanding. If you understand, everybody will understand. Correct? No? The space get affected by anything? Space will not get affected, but is space required or not? It is required, but it is not getting affected. Similarly, light. So in front of the light, we can do anything. I told you in the last class, somebody is doing good punya karma, somebody is papa karma. That light get affected, light just enables. Similarly, your screen, your practical modern example. In the screen, the film, there is rain, correct? There is sunshine, there is bullet, there is spear they will throw. And one person can seemingly be cutting another person, but is the screen getting cut? No. Screen cut out, ma. No. Guru Rupan sir, no. Swamiji told a joke. See, in
30, 40 years back, they used to have this, the theater was not so modern. It was called a tent. Tent means there will be one thatched roof and then people sitting right in front of the screen and be watching the film and all. And those days, there was a famous character called M.G. Ramachandran, who was always taking that sword to fight. So normally when he fights, initially he will lose, then he will win. That is a normal formula they put, right? So he was fighting. Adhasagar son, you listen very good. You have not seen all these things, so it's a good thing for you to hear all these stories. In the fight, what happened? Mr. M.G. Ramachandran lost his sword. So there is an eager fan sitting in the front row. He got very worried. So because he's thinking it is reality, right? He took one sword and threw it on the screen. Anna Katti Inda. That means what? Anna, he's called Anna, means they call him. You please take the sword and fight. He threw the sword on the screen. What happened? You all should know what happened. What happened? What happened? Screen cut. See, so screen got torn. Correct. So two things are there. One, we get so involved in the world, just like that, that person, fan of that, hero, we get so involved in all the action and get dissolved in that and start reacting. That is a separate example. But here, what I'm trying to say is that anything can happen on the screen will not get affected. Yes or no? Correct? Huh? And you realize the screen exists only after the end comes. The end, they'll put something, then you know the film is ended. Correct? Then only you know the screen is there. Similarly, the Atman is supporting all your actions. Atman is a fundamental basis for everything that you're doing. As consciousness, as existence, as Ananda Swarupam, source of Ananda, it is the support and base of everything you're doing. We don't realize that. We take it for granted and keep on pushing ourselves. And so what is happening? We don't even have an awareness that we are actually pure consciousness, the part of us. Beginning, you accept this part of us. Then we only think this is what is reality, and we go on moving this reality. Important. All these points you write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next important corollary you get from this. Now, only for people who are doing actions, karta, karma, there is punyam and papam. Yes or no? Punyam, papam will not come for mobile, for pen, correct? For wire, for glasses, no punyam, papam. Why? Because they don't have any independent action of their own, correct? Whoever acts will have to undergo the reaction. Jaisi karni, vaisi barni. As you sow, so you reap. You should know all these sayings, right? Very good. So now Atma being akarta, abhokta, has no karma. Write down, very important. Atma has no karma. Atma has no punyam. Atma has no papam also. No punyam, no papam. You all should remember the wonderful Slokha in Nirvana Shatakam. What is it? Na punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtham na vedana yajnaha. So when you study Vedanta properly, Nirvana Shatakam will be like, my Guruji used to say, jilebi uta. That means what? It will be like eating sweets. Nirvana Shatakam, all the Vedanta pictures will be like, drinking water. For that Vedantic concept to be understood properly. Atmanathan Guru is there. It will take lot of effort to first of all understand, and next I'll tell you what is the next difficult phase. Okay. So what? Atma has no punyam, no papam, no karma, and so Atma need not have any samskaras. Somebody asked me, sir, if Atma has no samskaras, why do you do all the 13-day samskara for a dead body? I am Atma only, no. That's what we say, right? If the person is realized as Atman, it is a different argument altogether. 99.9999% are Ajnanis. They live thinking they are the body, sense organs, mind, intellect. They die thinking that. So they are the body. So samskara is for what? For the body. First, the physical body which supported the Sukshma Shariram. And after that, from day 2 onwards, all that happens is for the Sukshma Shariram, please understand, the mind is traveling. The Jivatma Tattvam internally is traveling. Samskaras are for that. Punyam Papam is part of Sukshma Shariram. That is what travels and goes and takes another body. And then the cycle goes on and on and on and on. So until you arise and awake to this reality, now what is happening here? We have got two entities in us, the big I and the small I. The question is, what should I own up to? What should I own up to? See, today we are owning up to this physical body, the sense organs, intellect, all those things, because we don't know there is a big I. But even if you know there is a big I called consciousness, our mind will refuse to accept that. And look at the pity. We are trying to own up to something that is decaying. Bhagavan has told all those things. Vikaraha, Savikaraha, Anatma, Savikaraha, Shadbhava, Vikaraha. It goes through 6 different changes. Asti, Jayate, I told all those things. We are owning up to something that is ever changing, decaying, and going to perish one day. At least that should make you realize, why should I own up to something that is decaying? Let me own up to that aspect which is eternal, the source of Anandam, actually Anandam. So, a Jnani wonderfully owns up to the Atman and knows how to handle the Anatma. So, know and own up to Atma, learn to handle Anatma. And entire Dharma Shastram that you got, in 2040 samskaras, everything is for the Anatma only, not for the Atma. Is it clear now? So please don't mix up. Don't bring Atma Tattvam in Anatma, Anatma in Atma. This is what Acharya writes wonderfully in Adhyasa Vashyam, beginning of Brahma Sutram. Says people don't understand these two things. They superimpose the impermanent on the permanent and the permanent on the impermanent and continuously run the race without understanding what is happening. We should not fall into the trap. All this requires effort because it is a huge shift of thought process to move from owning up the body to owning up the supreme consciousness, which is my real principle, my real existence. Please understand. And that when it happens consistently, not only when everything is fine. I keep saying Sunday evening, what Guru Swami sir, Sunday everything is fine, you're having good coffee, I am Atma. Because everything is fine. Monday morning, Monday afternoon, boss is putting pressure. Atma, Anatma. Forget about Vedanta. Let us get into what is happening, right? So please don't forget, whatever may be the state happening around, you are pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. And own up to that. And that is what is called as the next stage in Vedanta, called Nididhyasanam. Shravanam is the first stage. What you are doing today is Shravanam, listening to all these concepts. Mananam is continuously putting it into memory and trying to own up this. Okay, that lot of questions will come. I have only quoted 2-3 examples. So many questions will come, clarifying those questions, getting the right answers. Doubtless knowledge is Mananam. Then final stage is called Nididhyasanam. So that is called as Viparita Bhavana is there in us. So first stage is Ajnana Nivrittihi. It's called removing lack of knowledge. Second stage is called Samshaya Nivrittihi, removing doubts, that is Mananam. Then last is Viparita Bhavana Nivrittihi. In spite of all this, I tell you, next day morning when you get up with headache or stomachache or serious problem, you will start crying. Arey, problem. Correct? Something happens in the surroundings, your own wife, children, something happens, dukhi ho jayega, you become unhappy. There's no point. Whether you are happy or unhappy, things are not going to change. Please understand. So how to maintain calmness, how to maintain equanimity, how to maintain peace, how to be ever Ananda? Only by owning up to the Atman. Nanyah pantha ajanaya vidyate. Tamevam vidvan amritaha iha bhavati. What does it mean? Tamevam vidvan amritaha. Whoever knows this truth, that I am that eternal principle, I am the supreme principle, pure consciousness principle, he only becomes amritaha iha bhavati. Iha bhavati means what? Now you can answer the question. Iha bhavati means what? Here and now. It is not after somewhere. No? Jivan ke saath bhi, jivan ke baad bhi. Some advertisement is there. No, I keep quoting so that you all getting interested in the class. Nah, there is no jivan ke baad bhi. It is here and now. You own up to Atman. And what after that? Nandati, Nandati, Nandati. What is the meaning? Owning up to Atman. Know that you are the Atman. That means what? That anything happening from the body, sense organs, mind, intellect is coming into you are not real. They are unreal. Chetan Sharma, understanding? Trying to have the full conviction not to give reality to things around you, happenings around you, and it is not going to happen tomorrow. It will be seemingly puzzling to all of you. It is a journey, and the culmination of the journey is this Atma Jnanam or Brahma Jnanam. Are you clear? Correct, correct. Zindagi ke saath, Rangarajan doctor is very good in all that. Very good. Yahan pe zindagi ke baad bhi kuch nahi hai. Here and now only you have to get that knowledge. Does anybody know the future? What will happen after death? Can anybody say what will happen? So write down an important shloka. Paroksha asatphalam karma jnanam pratyaksha satphalam jnanameva bhyaset samyak iti Vedanta dindimaha. Paroksha asatphalam karma. Any action karma you do is paroksha phalam. Asatphalam. Paroksha means what? It is not present in front of you. Sometime in the future it will come. And it is not even permanent. It will equal to your bank account. You keep spending, it will become zero one day. Jnanam pratyaksha satphalam. You get that knowledge here and now. Pratyaksha phalam, and permanently it will be there with you. You can ask, sir, if I get jnanam tomorrow, will I get stuck in Maya and start getting into the world? Depends on how deeply you understood Atma Jnanam. Are you getting the point? So that is why this process takes a lot of time. Theoretically, it sounds good, no? Let me ask a few people. 5 people say, theoretically, all this looks very logical or not? If we explain like this systematically, 1, 2, 3, 4 points, at least 5 people are saying, yes, I'm very happy. They're accepting that you're Atman. But the difficulty is owning up and putting into practice. This intellectual knowledge should be brought into your emotional quotient and internalize this thing. And that should be like what I keep saying, like in a kacheri. Shruti Mata Layam Pita, right? Shruti will never change. Similarly, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi should never change. But actions can keep on happening. And actions have to follow only Dharma, Dharma, Dharma. Because anyway, it is not going to affect you, right? Why don't you follow Dharma? Why do you end up doing Adharma? Put a question. Either telling a lie or cheating people or doing something. Why do we end up doing? Because we think there is reality in it. There is something to gain from it. There is nothing to gain or lose in this world. Attachment, desires, very good, Raja Sagar. Because you give importance to it. I'm happy you're accepting you're frank and accepting what is happening. So it is a process. See, this is all something new to you, all of you, right? You're all beginners in Vedanta. So you have to start putting all these into thought process, and you get only very little time. Weekly 1 hour, 2 hours, you come, even half the people bunk half the classes, getting involved in so many so-called important things. So it will only be partial knowledge, will become zero knowledge over a period of time. Whoever is going to give a lot of importance and thought and focus on this, only will finally win this game and get the knowledge. Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam ikshate avritta chakshuhu amrtatvam icchan. So with this background, let us go into the next shloka we talked about today. We chanted this shloka number 22. So Bhagavan is giving a wonderful example. All Bhagavan is giving practical examples. He's saying, see, just like a person gives up worn out clothes. So we are wearing some clothes today, correct? One fine day, either in action or while washing or something, the clothes will get torn or not. They will come to a stage where it is not worth wearing. Either it gets faded, dull, or torn out. What do? Start crying. Oh, this is such a nice cloth. That particular, on that particular Deepavali, they gave this dress. It has become torn. I'm very unhappy. I'm doing. What do? Throw. And what do? Next new clothes is you take and start wearing. Yes or no? Is there has anybody cried for for a cloth getting torn after 5 years or 3 years, whatever it is? Nobody will cry. Correct? They'll be waiting. When can I wear a new cloth? Give an excuse for wearing a new cloth, right? Similarly, Bhagavan says, just like a person gives up all worn out clothes and puts on other new clothes, so also this Atma that is internally ever present gives up worn out bodies. Jivatma Tattva, I told you, selfish fellow. He wants always everything to be fresh and very, very energetic around him. What he does, as and when this body goes through a process of deformation, decay, either naturally or if it's got some Papa Samskara unnaturally, this body will cease to function properly. So the Atma, Jivatma says, no longer I'll exist here, and jumps ship. Just like people quit IT job. 20% attrition, no, in India. Like that, this fellow is waiting for attrition. Only under conditions, this fellow will do attrition, but not unconditionally. Therefore, some salary people will jump. Here, they'll wait for till the conditions are not fortunate or whatever, cooperating for the Atma, Jivatma, and then this will quit this body and go. So, just like me as an individual, as a body, I wear new clothes and throw away worn out clothes. Atma actually throws away worn out bodies and what happens? Owns up new bodies. That is your Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. Sita, yes, madam, is standing very nicely. Understand? Understanding? Very good. So that is the Atma, Jivatma Tattva Bhagavan is saying here. And so now we'll do Padavibhaga Sloka number 22 and understand. So what is the principle? The Atma that is there inside all of us, Atma Nirvikaraha. Now go back to your second chapter notes. Okay. Atma Nirvikaraha. Anatma Savikaraha. Vikaraha means undergoing change. You understand, no? Sanskrit. So Atma does not undergo any change. Whereas Anatma is constantly changing, and one day, what is the culmination of all the change? Is extinction. Please understand. That is the principle that Bhagavan wants to convey. Atma Avinashi. Okay? Anatma Vinashi. That means Atma has no extinction. Anatma has got an extinction. Are you getting the point? Kiran Gopalaju, clear, no? Those are the principles that Bhagavan is explaining in this. And let us do Padavibhaga and see. Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grinhati Naraha Aparani Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. Important word in this sloka is the last word called Dehi. Dehi means what? That which is present in the Deham is called Dehi, the Atma, which the one called Enam. Never got Enam, last class. Enam, we said no. I am, Enam, all those things, right? So, that is Dehi. Very good, Arvind, very good. Now, Dehi. What is the Anvaya here? Yatha. Yatha means what? Just as. Yatha Tatha. Naveen Balvat is really below a tree. And so, it's really illuminating. You are giving a background that is really below a tree. I don't know, but it's so nice. It's like olden days sitting below a tree and studying. Very nice. Okay. All of you can look at Naveen Balvat, sitting below a tree and studying. Very good. Yatha, just as Naraha Vihaya. Naraha, human being, person. Vihaya means gives up. Naraha Vihaya. What? Jirnani Vasamsi. A living being with a good body, everything, no? The person, what he does? Jirnani Vasamsi. Jirnani means worn out. That which is decrepit, tone. Okay, Jirnani Vasamsi. Vasamsi means what? Clothes. Jirnani Vasamsi. Bahuvachana, Vasamsi, clothes. Then what the person does? Does he just throw away? What does he do? Grinhati, and puts on what? Aparani navani. Aparani means other. Navani what? New ones. So supply navani vasamsi. New clothes the person wears. Yes or no? Just like a human being throws away worn out clothes and wears new clothes. Tatha. So also. In Sanskrit, yatha, tatha. Yada, tada. That's the pair always. Yatha comes, tatha should come. So tatha. So also, or similarly, dehi. Dehi means what? Atman, that present within the body. Dehi. Vihaya. Vihaya means what? Gives up. It is repeated. Okay, vihaya. See, they're all repeated. In the first pada, vasamti jirana yatha vihaya. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani. See, vihaya is coming in. So, dehi vihaya. This atma gives up what? Jirnani sharirani. Jirnani, what is jirnani sharirani? That body which is no longer able to manage itself. Either there is a heart failure, breathing problem, ventilator, you have to put various problems to come, no? Or naturally. No, we say no. We chant Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Dhruva Rukami Bandhana Nrityor Mukshi Yamamrita. One day I'll tell you the meaning of this mantra, very powerful mantra. It is praying to Parameshwara that this body should detach from Jivatma without creating any noise, without getting any hindrance, without even knowing that it has happened, just like a cucumber dissociates from a tree. Not ripe fruit, a cucumber actually. Urva means this. It's actually in the ground, it just dissociates. One fine day it will be dissociated and nothing will be heard. Just like that, anayasena, no, what? Ranam. So that should happen like that, we pray. But anyway, whether it happens or not, when the body is worn out, what happens? The dehi, the jivatma inside rejects this body. Jirnani sharirani, worn out bodies. Dehi vihaya. So the atma gives up worn out bodies. And then what? Sam yati. Yati means attains. Samyak yati. Well attains what? Anyani navani sharirani. Supply that. It goes and tries to take, just like children are fond of new clothes, we are also fond of new clothes. Jivatma goes and picks up a new body and continues journey. And what happens? Madam, Payanangal mudivadillai. Goes on and on and on and on. And we will only see the film and come home, but don't understand that is what is happening to us. So please understand, this journey will continue forever until when? Anadimaya supto jada jiva prabudhyate ajamanidramasvapnam advaitam budhyate tada. The day you arise and awake to the supreme reality that I have nothing to do with this body, sense of mind, intellect, they're all coming and going. I am the ever pure Atman. What I will do? I will own up to Atman, know to handle Anatma, follow Dharma to the extent possible, live a very fruitful life, achieve the goal of life, which is Atma Jnanam, achieve moksha. That should be your clear determination. Provided you have got enough punya karma, you will continue on this particular path. So this is all Atma Tattvam Bhagavan is explaining beautifully. Are you clear? Understanding clearly? So now, continuing. Prabhupada, please come. Slokha number 23. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantyaapaha Nashoshayati Marutaha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantyaapaha Nashoshayati Marutaha.
Together, all of us. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantyaapaha Nashoshayati Marutaha. Now, before proceeding, I also told all these shlokas are extracts from different Upanishads. And I told in the last class The Shloka number 219 is exactly 219 of Kathopanishad. So quickly see, Shastra study should be very serious. You should be able to connect all the Shlokas wherever possible. Gita Shlokas, Upanishad Gita Shloka, Brahma Sutras together. Prasthanatrayam should be always in the picture. You say, no, these three should be in the picture always. Whether other picture is there, this picture should be there with you. So now, go back to Shloka number, what? 219. Yenam veti hantaram yaschainam. No. I'm giving you the revision. Yenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau tona vijanitaha nayam hantina hanyate. What is the Kathopanishad equivalent for that? If you got Upanishad book with you, please refer to 219 of Kathopanishad. Hanta chen manyate hantum hatas chen manyate hatam ubhau tona vijanito nayam hantina hanyate. Second is exactly lifted from Kathopanishad and put here. So that you should make note. If I were you, serious student, Bhagavad Gita 219, Kathopanishad, second valli, 19th mantra. Go back to your Upanishad Pustakam. That's why I say, always have a book with you. Don't do in computer. All notes will keep coming. The same 219 will have so many references later. So 219 Kathopanishad, you write 219 Bhagavad Gita. Then only both will come together. This is how transformation happens. Sir, merely studying after 18 years old, I'm not understanding. It is not going until you connect all these different mantras and shlokas and reiterate your mind, which has got wrong understanding about your true nature. Upanishad is saying, Bhagavan is saying, how can it be wrong? That's something, keep on questioning yourself. Then one day, that realization will happen. Realization is not mystical. Don't think somebody with huge beard standing upside down only will get Atma Jnanam. Fellow may have beard, may not be Atma Jnani at all. Let me tell you. May have big kumkum, may have no knowledge of Atman at all. So don't think that growing a big beard and only taking sannyasam, standing upside down will give you Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam. Swami Zulware. Atma Jnani ki Jnanam irka parupa. Inna dhadi irka, meese irka pakadanu. So dhadi meese Atma Jnanam irkalam, illada irkalam. It may be there, may not be there. That is not a criteria. Atma Jnani should have. That means what? இப்போ தாடி மீசை இருந்தாதான் ஆத்ம ஞானம். லேடிஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? பாவம், ஸ்திரீகள் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? Please understand what I'm saying. So Atma Jnana has nothing to do with external features. It's all knowledge, Jnana Margam. 219 Kathopanishad, 219 Bhagavad Gita. Then what is the beauty? Go to 220. Ajajyate mriyate va kadachite nayam bhutva bhavita va na hoyaha jyotya shashvato yum puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. I'm doing very fast. Hanyamane sharire. It is nothing but 218. One sloka before 219 Kathopanishad. What does it say? Look at 218. It's exactly same, except 2-3 words are changed. I'm reading Kathopanishad mantra for you. Sometimes what happens when I'm chanting Gita, I will chant Kathopanishad. Look at the 18th sloka. Najayate mriyate va vipaschit nayam kutaschinna babhuva kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharir. Once again, same thing is coming again here. So it is exactly lift of 218. See, ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharir. Has anybody got Kathopanishad with you? Have you got the text with you? Can somebody say what I'm saying is right or wrong? I'm not giving anything out of the Raja Sagar text irkapa. Right. See, you can see very clearly the second line also is exactly same. In Kathopanishad, najayate mriyate va vipaschit, najayate mriyate va kadachit. And in Upanishad it is nayam kutaschinna bhavuva kaschit, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhoya. So Bhagavan Vedavyasa has made the word little simpler in Bhagavad Gita. In Upanishad, slightly difficult. When we study Kathopanishad, we will understand what is the real small change in perspective it is given. Clear? So if anybody says, what is Bhagavad Gita? Ask, what should you say? Bhagavad Gita is what? Rajasagar son, Junior Rajasagar. Essence of all the Upanishads. Correct. Upanishad Saram is something you should know very clearly. So the text in front of you is not a normal text. Complete Upanishad Saram is in front of you. So remember that very clearly. Now, continuing same thought. Go back to our discussion today. He talked about space. He talked about light. He talked also about screen. Okay, for a moment, drop the screen. Now, please understand. Pranav, very good. Omkara Swarupa, very good. Very good name. I will not call you Pranav. You come for all the classes. Very nice. Pranav. Very good. So, now what is Bhagavan trying to explain here? In this shloka, Bhagavan is trying to explain that Atma Niravayavaha. Avayavam means parts. It is not something that is a conglomerate of parts. Very important. It is homogeneous. Konja physics, you know, from our understanding, homogeneous means it is the same. You cannot break it into different parts. Are you getting the point? It is not a conglomerate of parts. It is homogeneous. Whereas anything that is matter principle is always a conglomerate of parts. For example, anything you take chemistry, you know, if you know chemistry, Mendeleev's table, you know, different items, right? Everything can broken down into atom. First, you know, matter into molecule, then molecule into atom, atom into proton, neutron, electron, then positron, right? But Atma cannot be what? Considered as something like with parts. Niravayavaha. Avayavaha. Na. There is no avayam. Avayam means what? Parts. Whereas everything has got parts. That is one important corollary you will get from this shloka. It is called Prajnana Ghanaha. Prajnana Ghanam. That means what? The mass of consciousness. It is the same everywhere. That is why you cannot separate one part of it and say, I have taken one part of Atma somewhere. No, Atmanathan, Pere Atmanathan. You cannot separately go and take separately and say, this I have taken some part of Atma. Like we all say, no, we brought Ganga Jal home. Can you bring Ganga Jal home? The entire Ganga Mata you cannot bring. Only a part of Ganga you can get in a tumbler or something bottle. Correct? Similarly, Atma is homogeneous and you cannot identify a separate part and take it off. That is very important principle. So how is Bhagavan explaining this particular aspect? He is saying that you understand, my dear Arjuna, that no weapons can cut this Atman. Weapons can cut the body. Please understand. But now in me there is another entity. Please remember again and again. Weapons can cut the body, but the Atman can never be cut by any weapon. No fire can burn this Atman. So when you burn the body, Atman doesn't get burnt. Please understand. Atma can never be burned. So fire does not burn this. Third, water cannot wet this principle. Water can never wet Atman. Can water wet the screen? Can water in a film wet the screen? Can fire in the bullet fire, can it burn the screen? It cannot, until some of us like throw the thing, like a weapon cannot cut. But if you throw the weapon, that's a different thing. Okay. So no weapon can cut. Very good example. See, Akashavate, Prakashavate, for your modern day screen is a very good example. And fourth is wind also does not dry this. So there are Panchabhutam, Panchabhautikam we say. Akashad, Vayuhu, Vayu, Ragnihi, Agnerapa, Adhif Prathiti. Akasha is the first elemental principle. But you see, the four elements, Vayu, Akashad, Vayu, Vayu, Agni, Apaha. Apaha means water. Prathvi means the matter principle, that is mud. These four can do nothing to disturb Akasha. Are you getting the point? They all exist in Akasha, but they cannot. Can you cut the space? You can cut anything. You can cut a thread in between. You can cut a cloth. Can you cut? If you keep on waving a sword, will the space get cut? Space can never be cut. Similarly, what happens? Fire is there in space, but fire cannot burn the space. Similarly, water. Can the rainwater, whatever, can it wet the space? No, it cannot wet the space. Similarly, wind also cannot dry space. But each of them can be extinguished. For example, what? Matter principle can be cut off by weapons. Correct? Prithvi Tattvam can be removed from the equation. Are you following? I'm going to be a bit fast. Similarly, fire. Fire also can be put out. When fire is there, you can blow, put water and put out the fire. You can create and destroy fire. Water. Water also can be heated and can transform into vapor. It can also undergo change. You're getting the point. They're all parts, right? And finally, wind also can be taken out of a place. Vacuum. How do you create vacuum? Wind also can, but nothing can be done to space. So, since it is something that is fundamental to everything that exists in the earth, from a Vedantic standpoint, Atman is fundamental, which gives existence even to space. Please understand. Space is a matter principle, doesn't have existence on its own. It's subtler than space. So that principle which gives existence to space also. Space itself cannot be affected by all this other, the four bhuta, that's the different four elements. How can Atman be affected? Are you getting the concept? Is it too fast? Are you able to understand? Displace a space. Where? Venkatesh, where does it displace? That can it take space out of the equation? As I told you last class, no. Space is same. You think house? No. House, space. But house is in space or space is in house? Prithvi is in space. Please understand. Prithvi is in space. Prithvi requires space to exist. So seemingly you think is displacing. It is, see, space, if you go do a lot of research, is like the most elastic matter. Keep on filling. It will take more and more and more. Yes or no? No. Today there is nothing in this room. Keep on filling things. It will keep on accumulating. Because you got a boundary, it's limiting. No limit, increasing. Understood? No? Okay. Now, space, matter cannot displace space. Matter exists in space. Please understand. So now look at the thing. What is Bhagavan saying here? This particular Atman is undestroyable, cannot be affected by anything because it is partless. It is homogeneous. And what is the Padavibhaga? Na enam. Enam will come again and again. I told you. Na enam chindanti shastrani. Na enam dahati pavakaha. Na cha enam kledayanti apaha. Na shoshayati marutaha. So for our own friends, enam has been repeated many times. Again. Enatta marakkudannu enam pondergaru Bhagavan. Okay. Now what is Anvaya? Shastrani, weapons, na chindanti, do not cut. What? Enam. Enam means what? Atmanam. This particular Atman, 1 point. So there are only 4 parts. Write down. First part, weapons do not cut this. Enam means this. In the context of what is this? In this context, what is this? This Atman. Atma. Very good. Next. Pavakaha. Pavaka means fire. Okay. So, pavakaha, fire, na dahati. Dahati na burning. Na dahati does not burn. What? Enam. This Atman. Fire cannot burn this Atman. Cannot even touch. Forget about being burning. Okay. Next. Apaha. Apaha means what? Water. Nah. You know, no? Apaha. Water. Na kledayanti. Does not wet. What? Enam. This Atman, Atmanam to be correct in grammar. Next. Marutaha cha. Marutaha na Maruti yarak pere? Saturday, Anjaneya Swami. So Maruti, Marutaha means what? Wind also, cha also, na shoshayati. Cannot dry this Atman. Wind can dry the cloth, wet cloth. But wind has no effect on Atman. So please understand. This particular Atma Tattvam, which is the cause of the Panchabhutam, can never come back to affect the Atman. You understand now? That which is the causeless cause of the entire universe. Now you understanding? That which is the cause, so this Karanam, Karana Tattvam, because which Karyam has come, the Karyam can never go back and affect or change the equation of the Karanam. Mud can break. Whereas, pot can break, mud cannot be taken out of equation. Gold ornament can go into pieces, but gold cannot be taken out of equation. Karanam is gold. Karanam is mud. Karyam is ornament. Karyam is pot. So the Karyam can never go and change the Karanam. Understood? Clear? So this is a very important principle that you all need to understand. Now, what does it mean? So we say, no, in Lagunyasam, Aham Amrute Amritam Brahmani. Those who chant Lagunyasam before Rudram. Aham Amrute, keep on repeating that again and again. Correct? Aham Amrute. In fact, Veda Bhagatale, Purva Bhagatale, the fact that I am Amritam is being chanted without knowing meaning. So at least start getting into what is called as your DNA. Aham Amrute Amritam Brahmani. Aham Amrute Amritam. What? That Amritam Brahmani. When you realize you are Brahman, as Brahman I am Amritam. So the Rudram, Chabakam, chanting, ellame to purify the mind to well understand Atma Tattvam. There itself the seed is being sown to get the final knowledge. Like in Sandhya Vandanam you say, no, Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaiva Hamasmi. Pranav, I don't know whether you got what I know done. Aso Adityaha. In that sun principle, that which is the cause for the sun to exist, that existence principle, Aso Adityaha Brahma. The Brahma Tattvam that is there in sun is the same Brahma Tattvam that is in me. Aso Adityaha Brahma, Brahmaeva Ahamasmi. What does a small child know about Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam? But we have included in our prayers right from the childhood. It keeps on chanting. Shakti says 3-4 times. Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaiva Hamasmi, morning, afternoon, evening. Keep on doing Sandhya Vandanam. Then when the right age comes, get a right guru, study Vedanta Shastram, get Brahma Jnanam, Aham Brahmasmi happens. Only that. Understand? That is how our system is beautifully built. Continuing. 24. 24 is exactly same as 23. So I'll quickly finish off today itself. Pravara. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Acchedyoyamadahyoyam Akledyo Shoshyayevacha Nitya Sarvagatasthānuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Acchedyoyamadahyoyam Akledyo Shoshya Evacha Nitya Sarvagatasthānuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha.
Very good. Together, all of us. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Acchedyoyamadahyoyam Akledyo Shoshyayevacha Nitya Sarvagatasthānuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Importantly, when you chant these shlokas, you do not stop in between. Do not say Acchedyo Yamada. That one full padam should be chanted together. A lot of S mark is there in between. When S mark comes, when doing Padavibhagat, we'll get the akara. But when chanting, akara won't come. It is assumed. So please see Acchedyo Yamada Hyoyam Akledyo Shoshya Yevacha. So Akledyo Shoshya Damuro. Akledyo Ashoshya won't come while chanting. When I break the word, you'll understand. You got the point. No subtlety in chanting. So be careful. Don't stop somewhere in between. A lot of mantras are there. Both in Upanishad, Veda mantras and all. You should not stop and chant suddenly different things. The meaning will change. Okay, now. What is Bhagavan saying here? Same Slokha. Slokha 23 put in a different ways. Slokha number 24. This Atma cannot be cut. In the previous Slokha, what Bhagavan said, the weapons cannot cut Atma. Here he says Atma cannot, passive voice. Atma cannot be cut. Then this Atma cannot be burnt. This Atma cannot be wetted. Wetting VET wet, WET wet. Never corporate language wetting approval. Here WET cannot be wetted and cannot be dried. Same thing is coming here. So what is the final conclusion? We're coming to the end of Atma Tattvam. Please understand, with 25 Atma Tattvam is getting completed. If you're interested, we'll finish today itself. Okay. So here Bhagavan is now putting the final. Like in a film, they come to climax scene. You all know film is going to end. Yeah. So Bhagavan is doing summary, slowly summarizing all the principles that you have learned till now. And he's saying finally, this Atma is eternal. Already know, Nityaha, all pervading, Tatam, changeless, and immovable, and unborn. All the key principles that Bhagavan explained earlier is slowly summarizing, because we always require summary to take home, right? So Bhagavan is summarizing beautifully. Let us do Padavi Bhaga Anvaya, and if you give me 5 minutes, let us finish 25 also. With this Atma Tattva will be over. Okay? The 5 minutes more today? Okay, no? One portion will end. Fine. So, Achedyaha, Ayam, Adahyaha, Ayam. See, Pona Slokha, Yenam, Yenam, Yenam. Ayam. So don't forget Ayam and Yenam as far as second chapter is concerned. Achedyaha, Ayam, Adahyaha, Ayam, Akledyaha, Ashoshya, Eva, Ashosyaha. Visarga is Ashosyaha. When Ekara Swara comes, the Visarga will get eaten. Ashoshyaha, Eva, Cha. Nityaha, Sarvagataha, Sthanuhu, Achalaha, Ayam Sanatanaha. So second half is all about what you have to remember about Atman. The first half is the repetition of the last shloka. What is Bhagavan saying? Ayam, this Atma, Achedyaha, cannot be cut. Chedhyam na cut pandrathu. Punnilya? Ayam Adahyaha, Ayam, this Atman cannot be burned. Dahyam Adahyam. Punnilya? Akledyaha. So Ayam Atma, Akledyaha, cannot be wet. Kleda Yantyapaha, he told Akledyaha. Cha eva Ashosyaha, cannot be dried. So Ashosyaha, Cha eva, and also cannot be dried. Ayam, this Atma, what is the nature of the Atma? Very important is that, now write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nityaha, eternal. Sarvagataha, all pervading like space. Then what? Sthanuhu. Sthanuhu means changeless. Cannot not go any change. Come what may. Your body may change, mind may change, intellect may change, sense organs may change. Body will get weakened, but this Atman will never ever change. He knew there is a changeless entity supporting all the changes. Sthanuhu, stationary, changeless, ever the same. That is Sthanuhu. Achalaha, immovable. Correct? That means what? How is it immovable? Sarvagatatvat achalaha. Now write down, very important, very sukh, very subtle. When something is present everywhere, where will it move? Jivikumar, very good. When something is everywhere, how can it move to another place? It is already in that place, correct? Are you getting my point? No, I am not in Pennsylvania, correct? So I have to move from here to Pennsylvania. You are not in Bangalore, so you have to come from there to here. But space is there here and also space is there. Will space move from here to that place? Similarly, Atma Tattvam is ever, everywhere, all pervading. So there is no way it can move. Just for you to understand, I am saying. Not that because of that it is not moving. All pervading is a fundamental principle. So Sarvagatatvat Achalaha. Sanatanaha, unborn, ever the same. Sanatana is not something newly created. Some people create new philosophy, like that. Atma Tattva is the same forever. Atma is the same from time immemorial. That is the source of everything. Cannot undergo any change. It is unborn. Sanatana, unborn. That means ever existent. Primordial cause, the causeless cause, ever existent. Yes? So what you should do is, at least if you don't remember the whole shloka, Achedyoyam Adahya, very difficult to chant, at least the second padam you all by heart. Nitya Sarvagata Sthanuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Can you all practice this part at least? Nitya Sarvagata Sthanuhu. Sthanuhu means changeless, stationary. Like a pillar. See, for example, Thun in Tamil. The Thun is Sthanu, Sanskrit Sthanu becomes Thun. Old days house was constructed with pillars. No, that is supporting structure. It supports. If support itself changes, nothing can be stable, right? It is the support of everything. It is the one that is pervading and supporting everything. Sthanuhu, stationary, ever the same, never changing. Sthanuhu. Now we will finish 25 and give me 2 minutes. We will close this shloka also. Prabhata, please come. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam vikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi.
Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi.
Very good, together. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate Tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. So Bhagavan is concluding what? Nanushochitum arhasi, na anushochitum arhasi. We heard somewhere, no? Na anushochanti. Ingyo kettamar irukke. Ingyo eppiyo kettamar irukka. Tour appadi, you are all still alive. Panditaha na anushochanti. Bhagavan told. Underline that. Go back. Underline. Panditaha na anushochanti. Here Bhagavan says, na anushochitum arhasi. Same word. Na anushochanti, na anushochati. That's why we say, how do we find out? Atmajnanam portion has ended. When in the beginning and end the same message is delivered, you know one portion has been concluded. Are you understanding what I'm saying? No. It's called abhyasan. Something is repeated, then that portion is called one section. So we normally say Atma Tattvam begins at 211, ends at 225 because Panditaha nanushocanti, nanushochitum arhasi. So beautifully Bhagavan has concluded in this 25th sloka. And what is that? I'll give you a brief introduction, next class in more detail. So this Atma, he brings a new term called imperceptible. It's impossible to perceive something because it is not matter principle. It is not subject to any of your experiments, chemical, physical, material. No? Aprameyaha, right? Same thing is imperceptible. Two, it is inconceivable. So perception means to the five sense organs. Inconceivable to the mind also. Yeto vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Okay. Third, this unchangeable. It will never undergo any change. And what is Bhagavan saying? It is said so. Bhagavan is saying, he's never manufactured something. Saying, I am saying this. Bhagavan is not saying. It is said. It is said in the Upanishad, said in the Vedas, said by your sages. So please understand. Again, repeating, our religion is called Sanatana Dharmam, Vedam, Upanishads. So anybody who manufactures something new, says, I've invented something new, Namaskaram, go the other direction. So Bhagavan himself says repeatedly in so many places in Bhagavad Gita, it is said so. It is said in the Vedas. I'm only repeating that. Please understand. So that's it is said. Therefore, so what you should do? All this story. What for? Having known this Atma in this manner. What all the manners? 10 commandments I put for you. Beautiful summary. Having known this Atma in this manner, you should not grieve at all. So Bhagavan is going to the fundamental problem of Arjuna. What is the fundamental problem of Arjuna? Shoka and then moha. Shokam, right, in Sanskrit. Correct? I told you, avidya, kama, karma, ragadvesha, shoka, moha. Then avidya increases. No, Vanumati madam, please be on the subject. Shokam is the problem here. So Ajnanam is the root cause. Arjuna is suffering from shoka. So he says, you should not have any shokam. Jagat Trivedi, understood? No. Bhagavan telling all the stories for what? To remove Arjuna's worries. So popularly, Bhagavad Gita is called by this statement. Shoka moha nivrutyartam pravrittamidam Gita Shastram. If you are a Pandit in Sanskrit, you will be able to say that what is the goal of Bhagavad Gita? Shoka moha nivrutyartam. To remove the shoka and moha of Arjuna, pravrittamidam Gita Shastram. This Gita Shastram has been given by Bhagavan, Sakshat Parabrahma Swarupam, to Arjuna, the grieving person. So, with this knowledge, I'll stop here. It is slightly detailed to go into Padavibhaga Anvaya, which I'll take in the next class. My throat is not fully recovered, so no questions for another few classes till my throat repose. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishna 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 Shubhamastu Samasta San Mangalam Jayeta. Hari Om. Will meet next Thursday morning India. Wednesday